Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content.
Hey, what's up, and welcome to the CAVS QnA, where I take your Cavs questions in video format. We start off today's show with a question about the Cleveland Guardians. Will you do some Guardian stuff this season? No. The answer to that question is threefold. One, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I don't watch the Guardians. I have not watched Major League Baseball I've not kept up with Major League Baseball on a consistent basis since I was in high school, right? The game of baseball, watching it, me personally, I just don't have the same level of interest that I do in watching basketball and watching football. So, yeah. I'm probably never going to be your guy for Guardian stuff, right? My guy Kobe, he watches Guardians. Abby Mueller, just a girl from Cleveland on YouTube. Check her out. She loves the Guardians, right? She does Guardian stuff all the time. But me, it ain't going to happen, man. I like when the Guardians win because like people in the city get excited about it, but I just am not a baseball fan. I'm not going to fake that. Like for 163 games or however many they play in baseball, yeah, man, that just ain't in me. That ain't in me. Like I just ain't got it. So I'm not even going to delude I guess my product by trying to fake some Guardian stuff in there for some quick views, because it ain't like I ain't in there. I'm not in there. I don't follow them day to day. I don't know who's on the roster. I don't follow their free agency. I don't care about who they draft. It ain't in me, dog. I'm not a Guardians fan. And more or less, I'm really just not into watching baseball anymore specifically. Yeah, it's just, it ain't in me. I ain't got it. Y'all got it though. I'm happy for y'all, But I am just past the point of doing that. Cynthia says, and it's not like a vendetta, but I want to make this clear. It's not like some kind of like anger or rage I have versus the Dolans or anything. It's simply I don't like watching baseball on TV. I like going to baseball games. I think that's fun. I like playing baseball, but like watching it on TV, the amount that you have to watch for baseball, I'd rather watch like the UFL or Canadian football or even like soccer or the WNBA. Like there's other stuff that I watch during the summer that I like more than watching baseball on TV. This is my preference, man. But yeah, if you want to get some Guardian stuff, shout out to Abby Mueller. She posts on YouTube regularly. Make sure you follow her. Just a girl from Cleveland. She does a good job on that, and she's been uploading a lot. Cynthia says, "Why are there no conversations about Ty for sixth man?" I think it's because the scoring averages aren't that high, right? Like was he still at 12? Let me look that up. Yeah, Ty's averaging 11 a game. Let me go see what the other six man candidates are averaging. Because DeAndre Hunter's second. I know he's averaging like 18 right now. Peyton Pritchard, he's actually averaging close to no, he's averaging 14. I mean, he's had like several 30+ point games. Same as Ty Jerome. I think he should be higher up there. Like I see him behind Bradley Beal, which feels crazy. I think he's higher than that. He should be in that same conversation that like Nas Reed and Amen Thompson is and all of that. But yeah, it's a tough year for sixth man of the year. Peyton's having a great year. The Cavs have DeAndre Hunter. He's going to take that sixth man role for the time being right now, and he might not even be eligible for the award at the end of the season. I don't know how that all works, but he's probably going to end up starting for the Cavs sooner than later. Yeah, I mean, Ty does deserve some love for sixth man of the year. It's a crowded year, and it's not his year, The next question comes from R. Speller, who says, after the All-Star break, can we trust that the Cavaliers not to make the same mistakes they made in the second half of last season? Yeah, because they have already avoided those traps. That's why they're 44-10 right now. And honestly, even if they have some of the same mistakes, it's just not going to be as costly as it was in other seasons. I expect this Cavs team has grown from whatever has gone wrong with the team post All-Star break before. I understand having those anxieties, but the part of them being 44-10 is them showing growth when they had pitfalls that they fell in last year. I think Austin Carr touched on it at the end of the last broadcast. So, I would expect that carries over. I see no reason why it should not. Go Buckeye says, how do you think the lineup will look once the playoffs start, especially for the front court? Obviously, Evan and Jared Allen are awesome, but those guys can't play 48 minutes. I know Kenny likes to split them up, so there's always a center on the floor, but I do think in the playoffs, it'll have to be ran with the difference in intensity. Yeah, I'm interested to see what Kenny's playoff lineups look like, right? Because again, Kenny's an experienced regular season coach, but playoffs are a little bit of a different bag. I would assume that he keeps the structure similar in the playoffs. Maybe they play around, they find themselves like a little bit of a depth lineup they can go to and some in-between minutes. But yeah, I think it'll be, the similar lineups, except for maybe Donovan plays 38. Jarrett plays 38. Evan plays 38. DeAndre plays 38. Like your starters are going to play about 38 minutes. And then you get some spot minutes here from like Dean Wade and some of these other guys that are going to be coming off the bench here for the Cavs. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Kenny does these lineups. MBJ says, what's your biggest lingering concern about the Cavs in the playoffs? It seems like the core guys are playing well together, and we have a bit of trustable depth and length going into the playoffs. Is there something you're still a little concerned about when it comes to the team? Reaction to physicality will always be a concern until I see them respond well in the playoffs to it, because it does seem like there were some games this year where teams decided to get a little physical with them, and it did work, right? I think the Rockets games kind of point to that still being an issue. The Pacers were able to do that to you. So, I want to make sure that that's not something that can happen, that this team can't be bullied physically by bigger teams. And I think getting DeAndre Hunter is a big step in making sure that can't happen. But that's the one thing I want to be sure that it can't happen to him going forward. Mike Wazowski says, out of all the Western Conference contenders, who do you think would be the best matchup and the worst matchup for the Cavs in a 7-game series? This is an interesting question. The best matchup for the Cleveland Cavaliers, I would say, would be Denver. I would say Denver, but then you're playing the best player in the Western Conference, so don't love that. Houston, if they make it, but they're falling. Obviously, I think you would want to play the Lakers if you're the Cavs because they have no bigs and you have all the bigs. That's where, and then you have length too to deal with some of their wings now. So I would say the Lakers would make sense there. The worst matchup is definitely Oklahoma City. Like, that's the worst matchup for the Cavs. Now, I think they could beat Oklahoma City in the 7-game series. It wouldn't be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think they could make some noise there. But thank you for the question. Let's go to the next one. Tom Caldwell says, who's the odd man out when it comes to the postseason rotation? I'm guessing 9 players will be about it. Yeah, so 9 players. We know Evan, Jarrett, Darius, Donovan, DeAndre Hunter. It's 5, right? So maybe you go 4 off the bench. Sometimes you go 3. You know you're going to have Ty Jerome in there. Sam Merrill's probably going to be out. Definitely no Tristan Thompson. Dean Wade. You're going to go to Dean Wade. Max Strus. So it's 8. Probably, I feel like Isaac Okoro, maybe he slides in that rotation. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Please let me know in the comment section if I forgot somebody to add to that rotation. But yeah, it's probably going to be 9 guys, and that's probably what's going to come down to with Isaac Okoro being like that. Okay, if we need defense, we'll put him in the rotation regularly. Rich says, is the only way the Cavs can actually prove themselves beating Boston in the playoff series? And to certain people, it would be the only way the Cavs can prove themselves. But like, ask yourself if they're the approval that matters to you, right? Like, if only beating Boston would make the Cavs legit in somebody's eyes? Is that somebody whose opinion you actually really value? I think if the Cavs get to the Eastern Conference Finals and they get to 6 or 7 games, or they advance into the NBA Finals, they prove themselves. They have no more questions to answer. And depending on how they do in the finals, that will remain true. But I think regardless of beating Boston or not, if you come close to advancing to the NBA Finals, I think people start taking you seriously. I think that's just fair enough. But y'all, thank you for asking the questions. Have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.